just in the nick of time. What does that make us?
Big damn heroes, sir.
Ain't we just?
I'm God.
Bingo! Yahtzee! Is that your final answer? Our survey says God! Bing, 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 bing.
I am not crazy. I'm just a little emotional right now, okay? Y'all throwing all this stuff at me, man. But after this is over, could I, get a hug from you or something?
Hello and welcome to Shoot the Breeze on Resonance 104.4 FM, a film and TV radio show where a handful of film enthusiasts shoot the breeze about all things film and TV. My name is Marcus E. Acko, and my favorite actor who has played God is... I'll say who it is, and then I'll come back to why I'm flip-flopping. It's Morgan Freeman in Bruce Almighty.
I don't think that's such a bad choice.
I'll explain why. I'll explain why.
Oh, gosh.
Okay? Yeah,
Oh, dear.
It's like, swiftly, move along to the next
segment.
No. Go on, your turn.
Well, I'm not sure whether this one's allowed either, but my favourite actor who plays God.
Tell us who you are.
By the way, my name's Laura Sampson. I'm a person.
A person
who is sitting in this chair right now.
You miss one episode of the show and you just completely wipe us out of your memory, and that's basically it. You come back. That's what happens. That's what happens.
I'm Laura Sampson, and my favourite actor who plays God in a movie, or is it God, is Gloria Foster in the first Matrix film as the Oracle. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's the cookies rather than her.
It's the cookies that you like. Fair enough.
But I'm definitely going to go with her.
Okay, with us in the studio, two directors of the movie God Tech. Please tell us your name and who's your favourite actor or actress that played God.
I'm David John Jeffrey, and I'm going to cheat a little bit.
Go for it.
My favourite actor to play God was Morgan Freeman in...
Evan Almighty. That's not cheating.
Morgan Freeman basically is God.
I'll come back to why it is. But we have two directors in the room. Please tell us your name and your favorite actor or actress who played God.
Thank you. My name is Susana Rodriguez, and I can't actually think of anyone else other than Morgan Freeman.
Okay, now let me say this. Let me come back to why I didn't want to say Morgan Freeman, because he's the one person everyone's going to say, apart from you, obviously, Laura. But you forgot what show you were on, so I'm not going to mention you.
And I really like cookies, and Morgan Freeman doesn't eat cookies.
Yeah, and while yours was a strong choice, the reason why I didn't want to go with Morgan Freeman was because that's basically, as soon as he played God, everyone's like, yeah, that's fine. No one else needs to play God. I wanted to actually go with Alanis Morissette from the movie Dogma. It was a Kevin Smith movie, and she played God. Now, the problem with that is she only played God for like 5 minutes of the movie. Yeah. And she didn't say anything, and which is why I really liked her. She was very quirky. It was the fact it was Alanis Morissette. But then compare that with Morgan Freeman, who had literally two movies, as you pointed out, Bruce Almighty and Evan Almighty, to show what he could do as God, and he did it so effortlessly. So it was like, so for me, it's a cross between Morgan Freeman and Alanis Morissette. That's why I was so conflicted. I was thinking, it's one or the other, but no, I've picked which one it is, and I'm going to stick with that. So you're listening to Shoot the Breeze on Resonance 104.4 FM. I am Marcus E. Acko. Laura's in the room she was in the room with us, but obviously she must have been offended by what I said, and so she stormed off. With us in the studio today, two directors of an upcoming movie called God Tech. We have Susana Rodriguez and David John Jeffrey. Hello, and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Coming up on the show, we'll have UK box office top 5. We'll have our top 5 film and TV discussion. We'll also have Netflix and Amazon recommendations. Before we go to our next segment, I just wanted to give a plug for two things first. First of all, if you follow us on Facebook, we're currently live streaming, so it's right over there. So everyone just wave to everyone, whoever is on Facebook watching us right now. So it's all over the place. We tried this last week, and it was literally 5-minute footage of this microphone. So, yeah. Now we're going it's a little better because I can see myself there. I can see our two guests, and Laura's hiding right in the corner or playing with her phone. One of the two. So it's fine. It doesn't matter. But anyway, so that was one thing I wanted to plug. So if you're on our Facebook page, if you're not, go to Shoot the Breeze at Resonance 104.4 FM on Facebook. You do that on Facebook and you can watch the live stream. The other thing I wanted to plug was Resonance's fundraiser. Resonance are raising funds in order to move locations. They've been very good to us, giving us this show. We've been very happy to work with all the lovely people that are here. This is pretty much where we met Laura. She came on board with us. So they have an auction that's beginning. When is it beginning, Laura? Is it next week?
Yes, it's beginning next week. This weekend, actually.
This weekend.
So the fundraiser runs from this weekend to next weekend, and for the purposes of donating money beyond that. The auctions will all be sort of during that week as well.
Yeah, so the link to the auction is fundraiser.resonance.fm, or just go on the Shoot the Breeze Facebook website and look at all the posts that we have regarding the fundraising. We have a fundraising account as well on Shoot the Breeze, on Shoot the Breeze Facebook page. But go to the website for the auction. It is fundraiser.resonance.fm. But now let's move to our next segment, which is film and TV news. Now you play the jingle. So last week we talked Oscar nominations for 2018. We had Iki El Amriti in the studio with us talking about the Oscar nominations for 2018. Those of you who follow film news and award news know of another award called the Golden Raspberry Awards, also known as Razzies, which tend to follow the Oscars. They get announced around the same time the Oscar nominations get announced. They also get, I think the award ceremony is actually on the day of the Oscars. So March the 3rd, the Razzies will actually come out. Now, it's wonderful to look at the list of films that come out on the Razzie list, and this year there's one thing in particular that really stood out for me, but I'll talk about it when we go through the categories. So just to check, you've all of you in the room, you've actually looked at some of the films that are being nominated for Razzies this year.
Yeah.
So okay, you've seen some of them. Okay.
Yeah.
So just as we did with the Oscars for last week, we're going to go through the different categories. So we'll talk about worst picture, worst actress. Those are the categories, not like Oscars with best actor, etc. So it's worst picture, worst actress, worst actor, worst supporting actor, and worst supporting actress. So for worst picture, we have Baywatch. This is the Rock Zac Efron movie. We have the Emoji Movie. We have 50 Shades Darker. The Mummy, not the original, the one from the late 90s with Brendan Fraser, but this is more the Tom Cruise, The Mummy movie, and Transformers, The Last Night. Okay, so how many have you seen? Laura, let's start with you. How many of those movies, Baywatch, Emoji Movie, 50 Shades Darker, The Mummy, Transformers, have you seen?
I have seen the Emoji Movie.
Okay.
And I didn't actually think it was that bad. So I thought it was a bit... I thought it was quite unfair that it had been nominated in all of the categories that it could be nominated in, which didn't include a live action actor or actress.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. I've seen the Emoji Movie and I had to stop it halfway through because no, not even halfway through. I'd say 15 minutes in because my kids they suggested that they wanted to watch it. I figured I'd check it out first. I started watching 15 minutes and I discouraged my kids from watching it. Luckily, my kid has some sense. Those of you who listen to the podcast, you know Jacob Acko. He's on episode 13. He watched Thor Ragnarok with me, so you know he has sense of what kind of movie. So when I said, "Trust me, you won't like this movie," he was like, "Okay, fair enough. Let's go find something else." And we went to go see Thor. So hey.
Well, it was quite early in the morning when I did see it, so perhaps I won't need to apologise for my lack of judgment in that.
Well,
so do you think it's going to win in any of its categories? There's some pretty bad films here, aren't there?
This is the thing. The only reason why I don't think Emoji Movie will take it is because it's been panned already. It's basically been panned right from the movie the moment it came out. I think The Mummy will take it with Tom Cruise, mainly because while it wasn't necessarily a terrible film, I fell asleep in it and while watching it. But that's the thing. I think it was the fact that the level of expectation. It's a Tom Cruise movie. It's supposed to reboot reboot the dark universe with the Wolfman and whatnot, and the Mummy and Dracula and so on. So you had Russell Crowe in it as I'm going to spoil it, as Hyde, Jekyll and Hyde. He's in it as well, and it was so underwhelming. So I think that's why it's going to take it. The fact that there was so much expectation and it flopped, I think the Mummy will take it. Although Transformers, the reason why I don't even think Transformers will be part of it is because Transformers, they went out, they set out to do what they did. It's not, they weren't expecting to get any Oscars apart from for visual effects, and that's the movie that came out. The Mummy, on the other hand, thought it was serious, and that's why it went the way it did. Anyway, let's move on to the next category: Worst Actress. We've got Katherine Heigl from Unforgettable, Dakota Johnson from 50 Shades Darker, Jennifer Lawrence from Mother, Tyler Perry from Boo 2, A Medea Halloween, and Emma Watson from The Circle. Have you seen any of those movies?
No.
Okay. Laura, which ones have you seen?
No.
No, okay. I've seen Mother. I've seen Boo 2, A Medea Halloween. Don't ask me why I saw it.
You were with a friend.
I could have used that excuse, but no. Here's the reason why I saw it. Okay, UK audiences probably don't know much about the Medea movies. It's very big in America, mainly because of the actor Tyler Perry, who's an actor, not an actress. Just for those who don't know, although he's in the worst category, the worst actress category, is because his character of Medea is he plays a woman. Yeah, so that character is a woman played by a man. So that's why they put it as that. And Medea has a long string of movies, and very recently she has been doing the Halloween. So Boo, Medea Halloween, etc. And it's what it is. If you like the Medea movies, you will love this movie. I don't like the Medea movies because I watch it and I think you're trying to crowbar a joke in there and it's not that funny. Yeah. So it does the same thing. The one person two people I feel sorry for in this list, and by sorry I mean I don't think they really deserve to be in this list: Jennifer Lawrence and Emma Watson. Yeah. With Mother, it's an abstract movie. It's basically it's a risky movie. It's something that they did not necessarily. People say it's terrible. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's a little confusing. But for it to be nominated as Razzie, hey, I'm not going to criticize their choices. I just feel bad for Jennifer Lawrence, especially the fact that I really like Jennifer Lawrence. I think she's an amazing actress. And this is basically now where I'll bring up what struck me about the Razzies list. The amount of Oscar winners in this particular list, incredible. We have Jennifer Lawrence, we have Tyler Perry. It's someone's phone, or is it from upstairs? Okay, I think
it might be the street.
From the street?
It's pretty busy in the studio tonight. We've got people walking past.
We're being haunted. Anyway, so it was Jennifer Lawrence. We'll move on to the list when we talk about worst actor. So let's move on to worst actor, and we see Tom Cruise from The Mummy. That was expected. He's not an Oscar winner. I don't even think yet, because I think he's past what he needs to have. Johnny Depp from Pirates of the Caribbean, Salazar's Revenge, or there's another name for it, but we'll go with Salazar's Revenge. So Johnny Depp nominated for Oscars loads of times. Anyway, Jamie Dornan from 50 Shades Darker, Zac Efron from Baywatch, Mark Wahlberg, who's Oscar nominated as well from The Departed, but from two movies actually. He's nominated for Daddy's Home 2 and Transformers: The Last Night. So
how is that even possible? That's one of the things I think whenever I look at the Razzie list. There's always Oscar winners on it in films that perhaps their agents might have tried harder to dissuade them.
They need to pay rent too.
But is there an element, do you think, of willing the people who make these lists thinking about which actors would be up for it, would actually come and collect the award for worst actor at the same, a month before collecting the award for best actor?
I don't think that. The reason why I don't think that, I know what you're saying, and much to her credit, Halle Berry is reputed for doing that. I think she's been nominated maybe twice at least, and she's shown up to collect them
in years where she's won Oscars.
Yeah, well, she's won one Oscar. She won the Oscar, and then I think it was the following year, she got nominated, but it was for a different movie. But she showed up. She did the whole crying thing that she did when she collected the Oscar. She did the same thing at the Razzie, which was amazing of her to do that.
Sandra Bullock as well.
So Sandra Bullock, did she go to pick it up as well?
Yeah, she did. She got nominated for an Oscar for
Yeah,
that
for
basketball movie.
Blindside. No, it's American Football. It's The Blind Side.
Yes.
Yes.
And then she got nominated for a Razzie for All About Steve, I think in the same year. And I think she went to pick up both.
Yeah, there you go. So I don't think they do that intentionally to for them to try and entice them to come and pick up the awards. Like, I don't know, the only person in these lists so far that I think would actually go and pick that up would be Jennifer Lawrence, because what I've seen from her, from Persona in interviews, etc., she sounds like the kind of person that would actually go and collect the award. So I wouldn't be surprised if she actually won, that she would go and pick it up.
I think Emma Watson might too.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Although she's in so fewer well-reviewed things that perhaps it just would just sting a little bit too much.
True. I didn't get to see The Circle, but again, I'll need to see it to understand if it's deserving, if she deserves to be in that particular category, but we'll see. Anyway, worst supporting actor, Javier Bardem, another Oscar winner. He's in there for 2 films, for Mother and for Pirates of the Caribbean, Salazar's Revenge. We have Russell Crowe for The Mummy. I mentioned that he was in there as Hyde, and he was terrible. Okay, it wasn't even the fact that he was terrible. I mean, there was... Okay. Here's why I didn't like his character, and that they were crowbarring his character into the film, right? And there were points where I was watching it when I was awake. I was watching it and just thinking, no, hold on. You know that he's Jekyll, and he knows that he turns into Hyde. Everyone knows he turns into Hyde unless he injects himself with this syringe thing. It's like, why do you have to wait till the very last minute? Oh, no, not even last minute, last second to inject yourself. You're just doing that to create dramatic tension. So the first time that he almost transforms, where he starts veining out and starts turning into Hyde, everyone runs out of the room, he picks up the thing, and he injects himself. And I'm like, well, you're just setting up the point where you're not going to pick that up in time, and we're going to see you turn into Hyde. And what happens? Yes, Tom Cruise picks up the thing, moves it away, just as he's about to inject himself. He doesn't inject himself. He turns into Hyde. And I'm like, really? No, really?
That's not his fault. That's the script.
So yeah, does being involved in a bad film make you a bad actor or actress?
No, again, he's got to pay rent. So I'm not going to. So fine, he don't have to pay rent. He owns houses anyway. But it's.
So who's going to take it?
Okay, we haven't finished the list yet. So there's Javier Bardem, there's Russell Crowe, so 2 Oscar winners, Josh Duhamel from Transformers, we won't go into him, Mel Gibson, another Oscar winner for directing, obviously, for Daddy's Home 2, and Anthony Hopkins, Oscar winner, but for 2 movies, one called Collide, which I never saw, and the other one which was Transformers Last Night. So we've got 4 Oscar winners in this category. I see Russell Crowe taking it. It has to be Russell Crowe because I've seen most of the other movies, and the other Javier Bardem in Mother. Again, it's the movie itself. If you're gonna fault anything, you'll fault, and fault is a strong word, but because Darren Aronofsky was the one who did the movie, and he was punting at something different. He was trying to be different, and that's what that movie was. It's a Razzie. It's considered for Razzies because a lot of people thought it didn't get what it needed to get, and it was confusing and so on. But I don't blame Javier Bardem for that. Russell Crowe, on the other hand, yes, he didn't write the script. It's not his movie, but still.
He's probably not going to have been that good.
It was terrible.
Let's be honest.
So,
Just when you said Russell Crowe plays Jekyll and Hyde, I immediately cringed.
You should. No, don't. I would say you should watch it to see what I'm talking about. You shouldn't watch it because it's a terrible movie.
It's payback for Les Miserables and the singing.
Was it? Do you think he was bad? He was a bad singer in Les Miserables?
I actually don't think he was that bad, but everyone thinks he was really bad.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think he cares anymore. I think it's just a case where it's like, what are you gonna do? He's Russell Crowe. He's won an Oscar. He's put it in the corner. It's like, yeah, what are you gonna do? Take my Oscar away? No. Final category: worst supporting actress. We got Kim Basinger from 50 Shades Darker. Didn't know she was in that, but okay, fair enough. Sophia Boutella. Now this is a bit that I feel bad because she's in The Mummy, and if it is anything that's good about that film, it's her. She's fantastic in that movie, but obviously, anyway, doesn't matter. Susan Sarandon in Bad Moms Christmas. Okay, I didn't see Bad Moms Christmas.
What's
I saw
so
Bad Moms.
funny?
I saw Bad Moms. I really enjoyed Bad Moms. Okay, let me backtrack. I enjoyed Bad Moms, but not enough to go and see Bad Moms at Christmas. But Susan Sarandon being the only one being nominated, I only need to watch it because there were a whole bunch of other people in there that probably need to be nominated as well. But
You
anyway,
think that all of them should be in this list?
not necessarily, but I need to watch it to see, and I'll watch it and I'll come back to it.
Can I just say one thing, Marcus?
Sure.
Just really quickly,
Go
because I
for
know
it.
we have to move on. But backtracking a little bit, because I never said this at the time.
Okay.
I only watched 20 minutes of the Emoji Movie.
Okay.
But I'm with Laura on this one. Actually, didn't think it was that bad. Sorry.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually,
What I watched, I
It's-
thought it was actually. I expected it to be much,
I watched
much
the 20
worse.
minutes of the
Me too.
Emoji Movie, and the only reason why I watched it is because I wanted to see Patrick Stewart as the poo.
Okay,
That was
so-
the only reason.
Okay.
And
But
then
we
once
were
I'd seen
surprised-
it, that
we
was
were
my surprise
surprised,
over
yeah.
and done.
Here's the thing. With the statement that you've just made, the reason why I won't even challenge it is because you said I watched 20 minutes
That's
of the
right.
movie.
That's right.
I watched 20 minutes of the movie, and so I didn't like the 20 minutes of the movie I watched. You watched 20 minutes of the movie, and you were like, okay, but still,
Yeah.
you didn't finish the movie. The movie's
No.
not 20 minutes long, is it, Laura?
No, it's more like 90.
It's more like 90 minutes. So there is a good my maths is terrible, but there's a good 70 minutes that you didn't watch,
That's
right?
true.
And
That's
you
true.
weren't compelled to watch those 70 movies. So
Actually-
70 minutes. So
Actually, we were our hand was forced. We were watching it with someone, and they didn't want to watch it anymore. So
They didn't like it.
the person had sense. That person had sense because they stopped you from spending 70 minutes of your life that you would never get back. So anyway,
Okay.
There are certain circumstances where you sometimes need to watch these kind of films, and it's mostly when you're sort of locked in a train or a plane, and
so
there's
when
nothing
you're held
else on.
hostage, really, when you're held hostage, that's the time that you should watch the Emoji Movie.
I would
because
say
this is Guantanamo Bay type treatment, right? Basically, if you were to punish me, it's like you could stick me in a room, put Emoji Movie on, and force me to watch it. That's basically what I do. Anyway. That's me enough with Emoji Movie. This is you're listening to Shoot the Breeze on Resonance 104.4 FM. I am Marcus Iacco.
And I'm Laura Sampson.
In the studio with us are two directors of the movie God Tech. We have Susana Rodriguez and David John Jeffrey. Tell us about God Tech.
Right.
You
So I
go
start. I'll
first.
go.
Whoever wants to go. Tell us about God
Okay,
Tech.
so GodTech actually is an acronym, stands for Genetics on Digital Technology.
Okay.
Okay, and it's a film based about a time in the future, not too distant future, where instead of having credit cards and debit cards to pay for things, a microchip can be under the skin, and you can use that to buy things.
So like chip and pin, but it's embedded in your hand.
So you don't need the pin.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Bonuses.
Contactless.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
Yeah,
Contactless in its full pure state.
Okay, and it's based on a book, which is God Tech. I'm just holding it up. You can't read it from there, so that's fine. I'm holding up the book. I've got a book written by yourself, David John Jeffrey, called God Tech, The Mark of the Beast.
Okay, so I wrote the book when I was 16,
Okay.
and then I got it published when I was 23.
You're like,
Was
well,
it 23? No, I was 30.
just don't say
I was
the year.
30.
Just don't say the year, because obviously people will start dating you that way.
Oh, I'm not going to say the year.
Okay.
Okay.
So you wrote the book, and then you
Yes.
decided to make that into a movie. Tell us about
So
that
what
process.
happened was I wrote the book, and it got to number 2 in the Christian science fiction charts on Kindle
Oh,
in
congratulations.
America.
Okay. Okay.
I know it's a bit of a random category.
No,
but
well, I was having a conversation with someone earlier. Religious books and religious stories, religious books, religious films are quite successful in America. There's a huge market in
Yeah.
America for religious movies and religious books, as you just pointed out. So it went to number 2.
Yes.
Okay, so what happened from there?
Okay, so a couple of years passed, and I got approached by Warner Brothers
Oh, excellent. Okay.
asking if they would buy the rights to the story to make a film of the book.
Okay.
However, they told me that they were going to take out what I thought were key elements of the story.
Okay.
They just wanted a film about microchipping, basically.
Ah, fair enough. So they wanted to remove the God element, I wouldn't say the God element. They wanted to remove the
The
religious.
emotions died.
Okay. Oh, so
I think all of the story context, it's the story of a family, so all of the family side, they just wanted a film about microchipping.
Okay, fair enough.
And I wasn't happy with this, so I said no.
So you walked away from Warner Brothers.
I walked away from the money.
All right. But
Wow, that's That's brave.
That's a bold move. Not a lot of people
Yeah.
would. Not a lot of people
My,
would.
my
would
dad
do
wasn't happy.
that. Your dad's right now. He's like, I'm still not happy. Okay, but you're in here as directors
Yes.
of a movie.
So what happened was I got approached by a big name.
Okay.
And they said that we will distribute your film if you make the film yourself.
Okay.
So that's what we started doing, and it was before I met Susanna. It was myself, and I started on my own trying to make this film to start with.
And that gives us a good segue to introduce Susanna. So, Susanna, you came on the project.
Okay, so basically, David and I have common friends. So the person in question was a man called Lamin Tamba, who's a very close friend of ours. And through him, we met. It's actually a kind of cute little story because it was through Facebook, and then we got into contact and all that. Anyways, to cut a long story short, I'm an actress as well as a filmmaker, so I auditioned to be in David's film, and I got a small part in the film. Yeah. On the day when I was acting in the film, because I went to college and I went to university, I studied both film production and acting. David found this out, and he was having some struggles with the making of the film because he doesn't have that background, and he had a lot of, there was some lack of knowledge there that I could help with.
So you've written a book, but you're not a director, but you chose to direct this movie yourself.
Well, I come from a background of photography and DJing, so I had the sound and the picture idea, but I didn't have the whole how to make a film.
Understood. And then you had someone who walked in who was auditioning for the part, and then you basically just gave a promotion and you said, right, you just come and direct a movie and go from there.
It wasn't that simple, but it went that way.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. So you then took on the project, and then you started, you co-directed with David.
Yeah, so he wanted me to bring in more of the production values into it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
So, I started telling him that in order to bump it from an amateur production to a more professional production, he had to bring in a sound crew and get better equipment and all that. And I was just sharing my knowledge with him. Anyways, I guess...
One more thing.
All right, okay.
One more thing I want to mention.
Okay.
He also, during this time, she encouraged me to take part in film competitions.
Oh, okay.
So we started 48-hour film competitions.
That's very good. It's a very good program. It's hardcore pressure cooker where you get a theme, some actors. You need to write the script in 48 hours. You need to write, edit, make a movie and submit it in 48 hours.
Is that even possible?
Yes, it is, and we've got the footage
hard,
on YouTube to show it.
I took part a couple of years ago, and it's but it's an incredible experience.
We actually did a 24-hour.
You did 24-hour film. Okay,
we did one in Texas when we started at 2 a.m. and finished at 2 a.m.
because we were going via
Texas
time.
Sure.
Yeah, and it was all submitted digitally. That one was really, really hard.
That was crazy.
Wow. Okay. So right now the movie hasn't been made, but you're currently making the movie.
We're ready to go. We've got everything in place. We're virtually right there. We're just getting the last bits of funding, and then we're ready to go.
So if anyone wants to know more about this movie, where do they need to go?
Well, we got the movie website, which is www.godtechmovie, which is GODTECH movie.com.
And then you're on Twitter.
GodTech Movie.
You GodTech Movie at GodTech Movie. You're on Facebook at GodTech Movie. Instagram at GodTech Movie.
Not Instagram, but we have YouTube.
You're not Instagram. Okay, you've got YouTube. Okay, so you got a YouTube channel, and which is also at GodTech Movie. That's it. Like I was discussing this earlier. That's a very sensible way to go. Keep the same sort of label for every single thing. Unlike us, that have different labels for different social media sites. But we won't criticize that at the moment. But that's fine. Okay, excellent. So you're currently in